Greetings, free thinkers. Welcome to the Hoggcast. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing fine. I certainly am. Okay, what do we have for you on today's episode? I have two clips to watch, and I'm showing you these just to highlight how badly the West has its priorities wrong. This clip, when I first saw it, I actually thought it was a clip from Ukraine. I thought I was seeing a load of displaced Ukrainian civilians moving from one place to another. Turns out it's one of the cities that we have all come to know and laugh at, unless you live there, of course, in the Pacific Northwest, the likes of Seattle and Portland. Bearing in mind, I thought when I first saw this, with everything going on in the world, this was Ukraine. Yeah? So that's the first clip. The second clip I have to watch is something that's only loosely related to this, but I'm showing you it because it highlights why so many of the younger generation don't seem to have any problem with it. And it's not just the younger generation. It's people, for example, my generation. I'm in my late 30s, for example. I know it's a problem. You know it's a problem. But there are a lot of people our age that kind of think, oh, well, the problem will just sort itself out. We're the West. Western civilization will always be alright. That is one phrase that really scares me, right? Because you won't be alright unless we work together to make it alright. So we'll jump into the video now, but if you haven't yet though, please like the video, subscribe to the Hoggcast, hit the notification bell and share the video around. Also have a membership scheme which you can join. I have 9 amazing, beautiful members who honour and humble me that they've become members of the Hoggcast. There is a link in the description and a join button next to the subscribe button. We're only a small channel, we're the underdog, we are conservative commentators, and we need all the help we can get. But let's get into the video. Okay, so let's check out the Ukrainian citizens fleeing the ongoing situation there. Oh no, wait, sorry, that's wrong. It's actually Seattle. This is Seattle. Look, sorry to interrupt it so quick. Look. Look at the guy in the white hoodie. Look at all that, look. It's like the village of the damned. Look at that guy. Have you noticed how a lot of these people, they're bent over and at a 90-degree angle? You know, like the letter L, you know, a capital L, it's kind of bent at the bottom like a 90-degree angle. That's him, and you'll see it. Watch the video, you'll see it. You'll see loads of people. There's another one, completely bent. Well, he's not exactly like the capital L, but he's if he was stood up, he would be. Dude, did you see that? Right, watch these guys. That was a you-know-what deal. Sorry, I got a bit of apple stuck in my tooth. That is a you-know-what deal going on just in the open. You see it? There you go. The hand. Watch them there. So there's the guy again, look. Look. It's Village of the Damned. Sorry, I don't think I was even on the camera then. That's kind of bent off at the... I'm even taken after these guys. But look, this is Village of the Damned. There's another one. So don't tell me that, and it's not just the United States, it's all over the place. Don't tell me that because we live in the West, that things are always just going to be alright, because they're not. Because Seattle, Portland were cities that were once beautiful places to be. Look at all the trash strewn everywhere, so nobody cleans up. These are all lost souls, all of them. They're lost souls. There's no meaning to their existence. You can't run a city like that, let alone a country. There's another one, look. There's another one. Just not even with it anymore. Now, if you're a long-term viewer of this channel, you will know that I have faced adversity in life, like I should imagine you have. Like, I know that they, for all their faults, are themselves. And, funnily enough, the adversity that I suffered in my life is very similar to what they did. I was an addict once. Yeah, through my 20s, in my late teens, I was an addict. I been homeless. I've been street homeless twice. So I know the despair. I know the despair. But this is out of all proportion. Even in London, and London has a homelessness problem. Yeah, some people even call it a crisis. I mean, we've got a housing crisis. So this isn't like a dig at America, because plenty of places in the West have these problems. All big left-wing urban areas, yeah. Because for some reason, left-wing policies seem to be extremely popular in these densely populated areas. These policies that are actively harming the people, but they vote for it anyway. Do you remember that Joe Biden was giving out those you-know-what pipes? Do you remember that? In those little smoking kits that they were, or those little help kits that they were giving. There's clearly a lot of money to be made from it, isn't there? You've got to wonder what kind of weird kickback they're getting from that. This is the Biden crime family I'm talking about here. I don't mean these guys. But it's just such a bizarre thing, isn't it? To use taxpayers' money to give those you-know-what pipes out. As if you're helping anyone but yourself, because you're obviously going to get a kickback from it. But this is the future of the West. You're, in my opinion, if things don't change, we will all be kind of living like this. You know, like the dark future scenario. I've always been extremely concerned about the... And I knew this. I'd heard of it when I was young. I was a teenager myself. But the dark future scenario, right? And the dark future scenario, which is a globalist's dream, so that should tell you exactly what side of the fence they are on, yeah? The dark future is a kind of grim future where kind of we all live like that. There's no... You haven't got any... private property doesn't exist anymore. Remember what a coincidence. Remember the phrase, you will own nothing and you'll be happy? I mean, we've reached a point where not only are they telling us what they want to do to you, but you're showing... You're seeing the result, the human flotsam. And I was human flotsam for a long time. And I know what that's like. So they're selling all of this stuff shoplifted. All of that they've took from stores, Walmart or whatever, and they sell it on homemade flea markets outside, assuming to get $10. They go and see those guys. Can you remember at the beginning of the clip, the guy who was doing the deal? So they boost, they come here, they sell what they boosted, and then they go down the street to the guy. It's a whole ecosystem. Once upon a time, we would call it an underground market, an underground ecosystem. It's right out there for you to see. It's out on the pavement. That statues pulled down. All of this stuff on the pavement. Can you see what's happening to society? Inflation through the roof. Eventually, people just drop out because and this is something that politicians don't understand, and this is something that I do understand, having been in that situation, as I said. But what they don't understand is everyone reaches a point where they just think, do you know what? I've had enough, and they just stop. They say, right, I'm done. And it's a vicious cycle, because to escape from the drudgery of their life, they turn to things they shouldn't turn to. And then because they've turned to things they shouldn't turn to, their life gets worse. And because their life is worse, they turn to even more things that they shouldn't turn to. It's a big cycle. And as society continues to crumble, living expenses go up, wages go down, hopes and dreams, which, believe it or not, are more important than wages and living expenses. Without hopes and without dreams, nobody builds anything, nobody innovates, nobody gets up in the morning if you've got nothing to live for. See, look. See, the thing is, right? All of this boosted stuff. The authorities could deal with this right now. I mean, of course, you couldn't clean up the lives of the human flotsam and those who have fallen by the wayside, but you could make a start by just shutting this down for a start, yeah, and begin to punish the people who need to be punished. And that starts at the top with the politicians, by the way. And then for the people who have fallen by the wayside, give them proper help, real help. Get them away from this environment for a start, because you will never rebuild your life when you're in this. Take it from me. But look, all of this, it's all boosted, all of it. And there's not a cop in sight. I bet if someone turned up down there with a freedom convoy, a trucker's banner or flag or badge, he'd be arrested in no time. You know it and I know it. The West's priorities are wrong. So this is the second clip. It's only tenuously related to the subject matter, but I'm showing you it because of that, because although tenuous, the connection is quite important, right? In some sports at the moment, I don't really know what happened, but something happened that's led to a situation where they are talking about ending a very sportsmanlike practice of shaking hands with the opposing team. Okay, so one of the journalists asks a question to the effect of, should it be removed? What do you think about it? And so on and so on. And he gives an excellent answer because, well, let him answer and then I will give you my point on it, because he is going to say it much better than I can.
Talk shows, there are suggestions, silly as they may be, that we should do away with the handshake line now.
Oh my God.
Have you heard that?
Oh my God, I have. And I do got to comment on that, since that's not insulting to anybody. That, to me, would be the biggest farce, joke, ridiculous nature of anything I've ever heard of.
And then it would be in fine company then, wouldn't it? Because the Western Hemisphere, Britain, Europe, America, Canada, Australia, etc., etc., have become, over the last 10, maybe 20 years, all of those descriptive words you just used.
I've already taught these poor 18-year-olds that when you're told to go to class and you don't like it, you can leave. We've already told these kids if you're...
This is what I mean. This is why I'm showing you this, yeah? Just think about all those people, those lost souls you saw a minute ago in Seattle, and then think about his answer here, because you'll see the point I'm trying to make in why I'm showing you this. You'll get it immediately.
You don't like it, you can leave. We've already told these kids if you're not happy, you can do something else. We've already told these kids that it's hard to hold them accountable, and now we're going to tell them to not man up and walk down a line on someone who's kicked your butt and have enough class to shake their hand is utterly ridiculous. So if the president said it, I think he's full of it. If the best coach in America said it, I think that gets me way more than this incident. Not shaking hands. That's typical of our country right now,
Thank you. Not just the United States. I love America. Yeah, I know I do a lot of videos on America, but that's only because I think America is probably the most important country in the West right now. For some reasons you can probably guess, and for other reasons you probably can't, yeah? But that's West-wide. What he just said, it's Western Hemisphere wide, yeah? Listen again.
Of our country right now, That's typical of our country right now,
It's typical of the West. Nobody... And conservatives have tried. You know that, I know that. But you can't... The left decided to just barrel off of a cliff, right? And because the thing is with the left, they have no off switch. They just keep going and going and going and going, yeah? So you can't have that communication that he's talking about, yeah?
Instead of solving the problem, let's make an excuse and let's see if we can just, instead of confronting and demanding that it changes, let's eliminate it so that we don't have those problems.
So what he's describing is the West's obsession with dealing with secondary problems, yeah? So I'll give you an example. Take the southern border, for example. The primary problem is it's open, people can stream across. To deal with that would be difficult but correct. So the opposite is to do the easy but incorrect route, which is to deal with the secondary problem, which is people, for example, like Trump or Republicans, who state quite correctly, hey, do you know what? I think we need a functioning border. Then the people whose job should be to deal with the first issue, the border, now suddenly descend with gusto, with vigour, and they descend on Donald Trump, which is the secondary problem. Had you globalist politicians, the swamp DC set, had you have listened to the American people and dealt with the problems that they wanted dealing with, i.e. the primary problems, then you wouldn't have had the secondary problems. But you don't do that. You let them fester and rot, and you kick them into the long grass. You tuck them under the carpet where they grow, and then their primary problems become secondary problems. And then you suddenly just... This is why the West, all Western governments pretty much, they lurch from one disaster to another. Have you noticed how they go from one disaster to the next, because they're not dealing with primary problems. They take the high road, they kick it into the long grass, and then a primary problem becomes a secondary problem, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, we need to deal with this.
Let's try to do that. That's perfect us right now. That's not perfect me. That's not happening here. So if some team doesn't want to shake hands, you're going to see 15 of my guys walk down and shake air. We're going to shake air, and I'm going to shake air, and then we'll...
If you want to shake air, fine. I mean, I think you've made your point anyway. I've certainly made mine, so I'm going to leave it there. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section below, specifically, or, well, I mean, if you want to comment about this clip, you can, but specifically, I meant the first clip with Seattle. But either way, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.